Hiya. Okay, this is going to be a pretty quick review of the Cowon V5 HD. This is a player, what's from Cowon, so it's a Korean player. And for those of you who know Cowon, they tend to make pretty good products, especially on the audio side of things. Audio quality tends to be exceptionally good on their products. The V5, this was a tough kind of decision for me to buy because most of the reviews out there, they're not great, and also they're not terribly in depth. The unit itself, I'd say about 150, 160 grams. It's pretty strong plastic, resistive touchscreen on the front. It looks a lot like most generic Chinese players, the likes you'd see on MP4 Nation or that. Difference is, it has its own proprietary kind of cable. So on the side here you can see your SD-HC slot. It takes up to 32 gig cards, no problem. The connector here, it's a dual purpose connector. It connects via the USB cable, so it's a proprietary cable from Cowon. You can also buy an optional you can buy an optional HDMI cable for it, which I have. It works phenomenally well online. Going on to your television. There's simply a rocker switch up top here, so to turn her on, just once to the left and it starts to boot. So you can see your some kind of lady in a dress and the V5, and it loads in. Now obviously you can see it's running a variant of Windows. It's I think it's WinC 6.0. So what you're seeing here is the biggest problem people have with this player. It's simply the interface, and to be honest, it is not particularly nice as interfaces go. You've got media, utility, office, game, and settings. Now the only two you're probably ever going to use are going to be media and setting, and that's it. Now the good thing about this player is that its media capabilities are really, really, really good. The screen is 800 by 480. Now, in comparison to the likes of, let's say, the Arcos 5 or something like that, the playback quality on this player, I don't know how their codecs or how they optimize the player for playback, but I have to say, videos on that do look stunning on the actual, on the 5. Like, it truly is, seriously the best actual media playback quality I've seen on a small kind of handheld player. So let's say, for example, load up Dark City here. Now you can alter obviously to go into full screen. You just hit your actual one, and then you can scroll to whatever point in a film or that you want to see. But it's hard again to see very well, let's say, in a video like this, but the clarity is absolutely stunning, and the color rendition and that is vastly superior to the likes of the Arcos or that. The contrast ratio on the screen is exceptionally good. It does manage very strong blacks. One thing is the screen does wash out though. From viewing at an upper angle, you'll probably be able to see it starts to, you get your kind of negative black effect. But it's kind of set that if generally, let's say you're looking at about a 30-degree angle or that, it's always it's pretty much spot on when you're actually holding. Video playback time on this unit is also exceptional. 10 hours, no problem at all, and close to 40 on music. I've tested about file format compatibility. It'll play pretty much anything that you throw at it. No codecs to download or plugins or anything like that. It just out of the box, it works very good. The HDMI output quality is also exceptionally good. Like, it really is for people who are big into kind of good quality audio and video, and can live with the UI. This is really a top player. I actually got this one online at a very good price, about $160, I think. This is the 16 gig version. It also comes in a 32, and there's also a new 64. Two big omissions on this unit. No Wi-Fi. There is a Wi-Fi version. I think it's called the W, like the Cowon V5 W. And there's no Bluetooth. So if those are two things that you really need. Obviously, there's no browser, considering there's no Wi-Fi to actually get onto. The other real selling point on these is the music capabilities. It'll play pretty much everything, FLAC, OGG, WAV files and that. Like here's Roxy Music Avalon in FLAC. And I have to say, of all the players I have, and I have a lot, this one pretty much blows the socks off the others. A lot of, you can see the jet effect, which is Cowon's, let's say, own audio kind of setup, and there's about 25, 30 kind of presets, and that, or you can go in and you can actually you can set up your own. You can essentially set up the EQ whichever way you like, and so there's a vast kind of customization on it. It surprisingly enough, I expected it to have a higher output through the 3.5 millimeter socket than it does. So it doesn't drive huge headphones very well. Like I have a set of Sennheiser HE380s here, and its volume is not huge. Like in comparison, let's say the older D2 gives out a much higher output. But again, an inline amp or whatever would solve that. The settings and that are pretty basic, aside from the EQ, you can set your repeat functions and that. There's no gapless playback on the Cowon, which again is going to be an issue for a couple of people. Game is a complete waste of time because the screen really isn't good enough. They do have an inbuilt little stylus, but to be honest, you're not going to use it much. One nice touch is on, for example, media functions, you can assign the likes of a music icon to the home screen, so you don't need to, let's say, hit twice to get into any particular function. You can drag them. It's within the settings here. So, and there is a lot of settings on the device, so you can select your display. A nice touch on the TV settings is your you can set your HDMI output resolution, and that, so you can set it to NTSC, PAL. You can change the HDMI out to 720p or 480. Sound is easy enough. It's just kind of your touchscreen sound and that. Date, there's alarm functions. System properties, you can select whether it boots to the main program, as in your Cowon interface, or whether you want to boot directly into Windows CE. If you boot it into CE, there is a shortcut there to get into the Cowon one. Nice touch again, that, let's say, Arcus, for example, seem never to put on their units. Is you do have a sleep timer. So for example, if you like looking at stuff in bed, you can always just hit that, set it to, it's between 30 minutes and 2 hours, and that. And then obviously on information, it'll pull up the firmware and that. Good thing is Cowon tend to drop a new firmware for these guys out every 2 months or so, and there is some good actual stuff there. The utility is pretty much, unit converter, recorder, calculator, world clock, Windows Explorer, and then you can actually go into CE there, which is kind of pointless, but anyway. There isn't a huge real kind of community developing any stuff really for CE that works well on these, and not having the connector, or sorry, and let's say a Wi-Fi connection or that, there's not a huge amount you can do with it. Office, you can play back text files, that sort of stuff, or open up your pictures and that. But again, it's not really what this unit's designed for. This unit is one that I'd recommend if you want to just have the best audio and video quality. This is the unit to go for. It really is. Like I've had the S9 Cowon, I've had a host of different Arcos players and that. And this one really it's just for audio and video, this is the player to go for, especially now considering there seems to be the prices seem to have come down a good bit, and that, like, this, the reason I did this video is there's very few good reviews out there to show you one of these players in action, because they really are, like, honestly, for audio and video, just the best that I've come across. They really did a good job on this player. Interface is a problem, and I'm not denying that it's not terribly nice, but it's certainly made up for by the quality of this unit. So that's another quick review. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.